Yeah, yeah, that's off the dome. Off the dome. Yeah, yeah. I never let nobody with no motion try to hold me. I'm an OG, and that's the old me. The way I'm sitting nowadays, the money stay 9 ways. I'm sipping on a latte. Why they all call me bougie?
Welcome everyone to 2026, and we have with us the first launch of the year. This is the Mahindra XUV 7XO, the update to the 700, and of course no more confusion with the name anymore. Not 700, not 700, very simple 7XO. Of course it's a facelift, so not a lot in terms of mechanical changes, but there still are some. We're going to find out in a bit what it's like out on the road, but let's start with the design. Now you've probably seen the walk around video of the 7XO already, but that was in the dark. In broad daylight, things are a lot more clear. Let's start with the grille that has been redesigned. A lot of detailing in them, intricate. You've got these lines and grooves in them, and a good amount of bling as well thanks to these metallic bits. If you're a fan, let me know in the comments. I think the XUV 700's grille was a bit better to look at. This looks a bit too busy for my liking. Low down you have the bumper, which again has been reprofiled, lots of cuts and angles. You get this 4 metal plate as well. You get these jewel-like LED fog lamps that also double up as cornering lamps, add even more bling. Speaking of bling, you've got the headlamps that have been redesigned as well. Again, lots of intricate detailing in them. You've got the dual barrel look, and this C-shape LED signature has also been redesigned. The 700s was slightly bigger. It used to basically come even more down, but this is a bit more compact, and it gives the idea of a 3XO that is slightly bigger. However, the overall stencil hasn't really changed too much. The width is the same. You've got the same power lines on the bonnet as well. So in your rear view mirror, you will know it is the 7XO or the 700's derivative. And that's what Mahindra intended it to be, because they didn't want to stray too far away from the 700's design. They wanted to keep it recognizable, familiar, and I think that's what they've achieved, at least on the front. Now over to the side, the changes are fewer still, especially when it comes to the dimensions. The length and the wheelbase haven't really changed. So space-wise, it is identical. And what's also identical is the silhouette. Again, they haven't strayed away too far from the original design. So you know that this is the derivative of the 700. They haven't messed about too much. What has changed though is the wheel size. You get 19-inch wheels now, and they are a bit aero optimized as well, like we saw on the 9S. And you get gloss black cladding around the wheel arches and of course through the wheelbase as well. Now yes, it looks nice and blingy, looks upmarket as well, but maintaining it is a bit more difficult. Attracts scratches, smudges and dust very easily. So yeah, that is a bit of an extra effort. But overall, the stance is pretty nice because of the bigger wheels, and it definitely looks upmarket now. And at the back you have even more gloss black, this chunky panel right here with a lot of detailing. You've got this big block of gloss black here as well, connecting the two tail lamps. Now there is no connecting DRL, but not like this car needs it. It's wide enough. Rear wiper washer, an integrated spoiler with a stop lamp, and the overall silhouette, like I mentioned, hasn't really changed. You've got new badging, of course, the 7XO and the AX7L, but what I would have liked is an electric tailgate. Now what's also upgraded is the key. You've got this new age key that we saw on the BE6 and the 9E, but like I said, the tailgate is not powered, so you have to manually lift it, which is not exactly premium. But let's get inside. Now the inside of the 7XO is a big jump from the 700, lots that is new and new age, modern looking. And of course the talking point is this triple screen layout, this big glass display up front. Now let's start with the driver's side. You have the instrument cluster that is very detailed, lots of information and very neatly laid out as well. The font size is decent, easy to read, legible. So that's a nice touch. Then you have the center touchscreen. Now this is quite busy, and because you don't have a single button on the dashboard, you have to basically park your car, take your eyes off the road, be safe, and only then go through the menus and sub-menus and apps. So much you can do with it. Dolby Atmos, Dolby Vision, and of course the speakers are incredible. 16 speaker Harman Kardon system, sounds very nice. But if you have to go through the setup, you have to spend a fair bit of time in the touchscreen. Then you have the passenger display, which of course is for the passenger content consumption, YouTube, apps. You have games as well. So yeah, the front passenger can stay quite busy on a long trip especially. The passenger screen, unlike the one seen on the 9S, gets a privacy skin that does not allow the driver to get distracted while driving. It also supports 4K resolution and overall quality and usability is quite slick. There is also ambient lighting and a much improved camera with 540 degrees of viewing, making it effortless to maneuver in tight spots. And overall, everything is about the screens because you have no other function. Yes, you do have this shortcut button right here on the center console for your AC, for the volume and for the drive modes as well. But it's still not enough if you want to toggle some other stuff. Gear lever, very straightforward, no nonsense design. That's something I really like. You have two cup holders as well and this big gloss black panel which you open and you get a phone tray and a wireless phone charger along with a 65-watt Type-C charger and a USB-A port as well for some of the older phones. Now very nifty, very good in terms of usability, but the gloss black will attract a lot of smudges and dust. It already is looking like it's old, so you have to keep wiping, you have to keep a microfiber handy. And speaking of gloss black, you have the new steering as well, 2-spoke steering, which again has a good amount of gloss black on here. But unlike some other cars that have haptic buttons for the steering controls, this one actually gets physical buttons, so you don't accidentally hit some function, which is quite nice. The other thing, of course, the big one, the upholstery. It now gets this bright upholstery paired with the tan. Looks incredible, very, very premium and high quality. And everywhere you touch, you feel like this is an expensive car. However, the issue with the bright upholstery, especially in our conditions, is that you have to put in extra effort to keep it clean. And even then, some of these cars get pretty shabby very, very fast. And that's not really the problem of the owner or a maintenance issue. It's just how our conditions are. So a dark upholstery would be a better choice. Overall, the seat comfort is excellent. You have power adjust for both seats, the driver and the passenger. You get 3 memory functions for the driver as well. And of course, both these seats are ventilated too. And from where I'm sitting, the driving position is quite commanding. Even at its lowest seat height, I am seated high enough to see the entire bonnet. So view out the road is fantastic. You have a good glass area as well, and overall visibility is excellent. Never really was a problem with the 700, and with this it is the same. But a lot of the XUV clientele also sits in the back, so let's quickly find out what the rear seat is like. Now the middle row of the 7XO is the one that gives you the most amount of pampering. Space for one is really, really good. Never really was a problem on the 700 either, and in this one things are the same. You got a good amount of knee room, good space under the seat for your feet as well. Very good under thigh support, and headroom is fantastic as well. So very nice in terms of cabin experience. The panoramic sunroof obviously helps its case. And yes, while I said the bright upholstery is hard to keep clean, it definitely is nice when it comes to just the overall perception. It definitely looks premium, and credit where it's due, it is upmarket as well. But then what are the new features? Well, first up, you got 65-watt charging, the Type-C ports at the back of both front seats. You've got sun blinds as well to protect you from the outside heat. That's a nice touch. Vents in the center with a wireless charger low down that also has cooling, so your phone doesn't heat up unnecessarily. And the big one, the seats get ventilation as well. The buttons are at each ends. Now that's a very, very good addition. You no longer have to struggle to fight for who gets the ventilated seat. People usually fight to sit in the front because of the cool seats, but in this car that's not going to be an issue. You can also recline this backrest for a more comfortable angle, and that's very good. However, what I would have liked is the ability to slide the seat forward and backward. Now space is not the issue, especially in the middle row, but if you wanted more space in the third row, you could have done that with the adjustment of this seat. However, if you are seated here and if you want more space, you also now have a BOSS function as well, electronically adjusted. So at the touch of a button, you can take the backrest ahead, or at the touch of a button, you can take the entire seat ahead as well and open up a lot more room. So clearly the clientele is focused on this seat, this row. You also get a 6-seat option with 2 captain chairs for the middle row. That is available only on the AX7 models. And the third row sees no change in terms of comfort and space. The middle row slider would have helped its case, but for now it's best suited for kids or short adults for short drives. The boot is also identical in terms of room, but again, a missing powered tailgate does take away some points. Now, while the XUV 7XO does get significant changes on the outside and inside, powertrain wise it is the same as before. A 2-litre turbo petrol engine with a manual and automatic, and a 2.2-litre diesel engine with a manual and automatic. We have both engines today on test, and both of them are in their automatic guise. The petrol first, 202 horsepower, 380 Nm, and performance is just excellent. Given its size, given what it is, it performs very, very well. Quite fast. And then of course you have the zip zap zoom modes, which makes it even better. In zoom, it is actually quite exciting to drive. What's also really nice is the automatic gearbox, 6-speed auto, smooth to shift, and of course just slot it into M and you can use it as a manual as well. Doesn't get paddle shifters, but that's all right. For a car in this segment, you're not really looking at paddle shifters, but what you will be impressed by the most is of course the performance. The engine just isn't choked for economy, it just revs freely, it runs nice and smooth, and power delivery, although linear, is quite quick. So response, mash your foot and it moves seriously quick. What's also new on the 7XO is the ADAS that has been upgraded. Now you have better cameras, better processing power. The ADAS has a wider cross section, so it can take in a lot more information and process all that data really fast. And what that means is when you're driving in low light conditions, if the visibility is not too great, you have a fog in front of you, the ADAS can actually help out. You have a map here, basically an illustration of what's happening, what's coming on the other side. If you have cows on the road, if you have pedestrians, motorcyclists, everything is displayed here. So even if you can't really see them, the ADAS actually picks up exactly what's happening, and that of course is big on safety. Now that said, the ADAS calibration overall is pretty important. You can't just add features and gimmicks to it and be done with it. How it performs out in the real world is quite important. Otherwise the whole system becomes actually quite useless. On this car though, it is quite nice. It doesn't break abruptly. It gives you a good amount of buffer time, and I think that is with respect to our haphazard traffic. So that is quite a nice touch. And yes, on long highway trips, on well-marked highways, super expressways, it definitely makes your job a lot easier. And then the big update is in the suspension. You have a lot more tech now. You have DaVinci dampers, you have hydraulic stoppers in the suspension, and that means overall low speed ride is a lot better. Compared to the older car, it definitely is noticeable. Whoever has driven the 700 will definitely know that this car is better. It's softer, it takes that first hit really well, and then it softens the whole ride, and that really is completely game changing, because in low speeds you have that first bump that the tire takes, and that is what brings in that third. If you can control that, then you can control the overall ride, and that is what Mahindra has done.
The new DaVinci dampers along with the hydraulic stoppers prevents the suspension from bottoming out and the resulting thud, and while it is great over low speed bumps, even on highways, it helps a great deal with the stability. The ride is a lot more composed and flat, and that adds confidence.
And what the suspension upgrade has also done is improve the NVH. Suspension noise is now a lot less, and that means you have a quieter cabin, and because you have a more stable ride, the handling is nicer too. Of course, it's a big SUV, it's a 3-row family SUV, so you won't really expect agility and nimbleness in the corners, but for what it is extremely commendable, especially given its competition.
We also got a chance to drive the diesel, as it was a favored powertrain in the 700.
Now, while the petrol 7XO is excellent in terms of performance, the diesel is not too far behind. The 2.2-litre 186 horsepower diesel gets 450 Nm of torque, and torque is what highways love, and on the highway this car is just brilliant. Yes, you hear the engine a lot more, of course, refinement is not as good as the petrol, but vibrations are nil, negligible. Nothing on the steering, nothing in the seats, there's none of that constant drone. You hear the engine, but that's about it. And despite the extra bit of weight, the ride even on the diesel is just very, very good now. That suspension update has definitely helped its case. And considering the fact that you have bigger wheels now, 19-inch wheels compared to 18 inches on the 700, you have lesser profile tire as well, 55 compared to 60. On the 700, the ride still is better. That damping system definitely does its job. And overall, it just gets extra points just because it is available as a diesel. In an era where people are moving away from that fuel, Mahindra continues to power its flagship SUV with diesel. I think that's quite commendable. Performance is great, efficiency obviously is better, and the highways highways are still diesel territory. So what's the first impression on the XUV 7X? So honestly, it is quite positive. It's a powerful car. It rides well now as well, and it has a good amount of features. Prices start at 13.66 lakh for the petrol, 14.96 lakh for the diesel, and that means you have an XUV at every price bracket. No matter the budget, you're gonna have a variant for you. That's a very good touch. Now, test drives begin on the 8th of January. Deliveries start for the AX7 version on the 14th of Jan along with the bookings. And if you want something that is the AX or the AX3 or the AX5, then the deliveries for that start in April of 2026. It is a very good package. I think Mahindra have a winner on their hands.